Begin with the escalating war in the Middle East. Israel and Iran are trading attacks for a fifth consecutive day. Now, overnight, Israeli forces say they struck several military targets in western Iran and claim to have killed a senior Iranian military commander in the country's capital. This morning, Iran fired more retaliatory rockets into Israel, with the IDF reporting most of the 20 missiles launched were intercepted. Now, the escalating situation prompted President Trump to cut short his trip to Canada for the G7 Leaders Summit. We told you about this yesterday. Before departing, the president posted this warning to his social media profile, urging people to, quote, immediately evacuate Tehran. That is a metro area home to at least 13 million people, keep in mind. We've got team coverage on this for you this morning. CBS News Middle East reporter Courtney Keeley is here with me in Studio 57, tracking the fighting. But let's begin with CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand at the White House. Natalie, good morning to you. President Trump now back in Washington, but to do exactly what today?
Good morning, Errol. Well, the president is expected to be in the Situation Room here at the White House monitoring the latest developments. He was asked on Air Force One by reporters about his decision to return from the G7, and he said he wanted to discuss all of the developments in person, not have to rely on phone calls. He was also asked about that post that you referenced, urging people to evacuate Tehran. He says he just wants people to be safe. And speaking to reporters, he also said that he wants what he called a real end to the situation, to end with Iran giving up its nuclear program entirely. Before returning home, he had posted that he has not reached out to Iran for peace talks, calling that fake news. He goes on to say if they want to talk, they know how to reach him. In an earlier post, he said, reports that French President Emmanuel Macron said that he was returning to work on a ceasefire deal was not the case, saying that he wants much bigger than that. Now, when we got word last night that he was going to return to Washington, CBS reporting was, according to U.S. officials, the U.S. is not joining Israel offensively in its military operation. We know that the U.S. has been assisting in a defense capability, helping to intercept incoming missiles. But again, the latest reporting was that we were not going beyond that to join offensively. The president on the plane was asked if he's going to do anything more to help Israel. Here's what he had to say.
Pretty well. Remember, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. We don't have to go too deep into it. They just can't have a nuclear weapon.
Now, we know that Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also returned to Washington with the president, and his defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, has also posted last night that additional forces have been deployed to the Middle East to enhance the U.S. defensive posture, saying protecting U.S. forces is, of course, the top priority, Errol.
All right, Natalie Brand with the latest at the White House. Thank you for that. Let's bring in Middle East reporter Courtney Keeley now to talk more about this. Good morning, Courtney, and welcome back. With Iran and Israel continuing to trade attacks for a fifth day, how realistic is President Trump's position that the U.S. won't ultimately at some point get involved?
Right. He said bigger than a ceasefire, an end, a real end, not a ceasefire, a real end. Those are ominous words. Whether he meant them and to carry that weight or not remains to be seen. As we just heard from Natalie, there are defensive positions in the Middle East. You've got the Nimitz and another USS naval fleet ship coming in. You've got the THAAD and the Patriot missile battery packs to help aid Israel to shoot out those missiles that have been incoming from Iran. And you've got U.S. Air Force refueling planes that are also going to help Israel. So they're calling it defensive help for Israel, not necessarily anything offensive, but to really get at that Fordo nuclear plant, that really would require only what the U.S. has, a B-2 bomber with a 30,000-pound bomb. And whether President Trump means that or not, he's going to be in the Situation Room today. Today is going to be a crucial day to see if the U.S. actually goes offensively.
Now, Benjamin Netanyahu, while speaking to the London-based Iran International yesterday, said that his forces have been able to take out key parts of Iran's nuclear program. But what is Netanyahu's end game here? Because you would have expected Iran to retaliate and protect the one thing that would have a nuclear weapon, kept other countries from attacking them.
Right. So Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli Air Forces have taken out key parts of Natanz and the plant in Isfahan, but not other plants. And whether they've actually destroyed those centrifuges, there's no radiation on the ground, according to the IAEA, but they have gone after them, just not all of them. And the question is, do they really have intel to know what parts they're breaking the centrifuges, for instance? Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu does not enjoy a lot of popular favor in Israel right now, so he's not necessarily worried about what the Israeli people think. He took out Hezbollah the same way he's taking out the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, one by one. They've really decimated the top leadership, and they've also even gone after the deputies. So it's like a two-tier level of, you're going to replace somebody? Well, I've already taken out the replacement.
And they, at the very least, has weakened them, slowed them to some extent. Great to get your perspective on this. Courtney, thanks so much.